you have to have a process, because if you don't have a process in your business that's embedded in your business, you can't plug people into it, and you can't manage them to a standard. You can't scale marketing without sales process. If you're going to spend money on marketing, you can't be the least expensive company out there, because you're investing more than those least expensive companies in your overhead.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Hook Better Leads podcast. And today I'm on with Aaron Santos of Roof Coach. How you doing, sir?
Good, Tim. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And I know you work with a lot of different people, including hvac. Is that correct?
Yeah, you bet. Yep. Been working with hvac. I've known the owner for a long time, since we had roofing companies together, and helped them build their sales process, and have been training their dealers in sales for the past 3 years now or so.
So you're going to get lessons from a person who's operating at that high of a level. And I'm also going to ask Aaron about what issues roofing companies are facing. I think something that's hard as a business owner is being solitary on your own without seeing everybody else's problems. I know that there's a lot of smack talk on the internet about events and all these things. People always want to say it's some kind of cash grab or something. But the problem is that when you're totally isolated and you don't have somebody to tell you, hey, also other people are going through this and here's how they're fixing it, then you can suddenly come 2 years later and then they just give you one simple answer. It's like, oh yeah, we're all doing this now. Because you probably get to cross-pollinate, right? From one roofing company to the other.
Well, yeah, I mean, who else do you have to lean on if you're in your own market? People, you don't even want to get advice from people in your market, because they could be giving you advice that'll lead to your downfall, right? They're not looking to help you, to lift you up. So, no, I mean, was just talking with a group earlier today. There's an event that's coming up next month, and that was one of the strongest things I mentioned to him. The owner of hvac and I go way back to some best practices groups that we belonged to back in the early 2000s. Our friendship is that's what's led us to be working together today. But those groups, you go to those events, and they're great, right? But inevitably, you can probably back me up on this, where the nuggets are, where the gold is it's at the breakout, it's at lunch. If you enjoy a cocktail, maybe you're enjoying a cocktail with some people later after the event's done, where you get those breakthroughs of how somebody actually got something implemented. Because you can get a lot of knowledge, but it's the implementation of that knowledge is where the magic happens, right? So yeah, absolutely. And podcasts like this, obviously, and thank you for putting them on, because it's a great benefit to people out there.
Appreciate that, sir. So I'm just peering in as a journalist to a guy who's working with 20 roofing companies directly, and with a lot more than that through hvac. What are the top issues you're seeing? And I'm saying for 2025, but this last 3 to 6 months, what are the things that are pain right now for roofers that you often get? I'm sure you're sometimes a therapist a little bit as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's been one of the interesting things, going from, most of my life I started in supply, got into contracting, built a retail company, left that company, started my own back in 2006, and spent over a decade building that before we sold it. But so a lot of it's been doing that. But the thing that I've learned since getting into doing what I'm doing now is, there's consulting, coaching, and training. And coaching is that part where it's helping people get past their barriers, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it can be like that. But the thing that I don't know if it's 2025. I've been in this business a long time, and the problems to me seem to be not too dissimilar. We can paint them with a different brush, but the biggest problem is that roofing contractors don't run their businesses like businesses for the most part. And to a person, when I ask people that come to me what they want to achieve, it's almost always the same. They want freedom. They want freedom. They want to get out of the grind. They want to get out of the day-to-day of their business. And there isn't anything new that's preventing that. It's getting understanding how to have a business process, manage a business, drive marketing. You pasted something the other day, which was what's more important, marketing or sales, and the answer is yes, right? Um, our company when I started my roofing business, we left a company we were at, and it wasn't planned, and we this was in 2006, and we just all of a sudden had to leave, and we were retail employee based business. So we had a bunch of employees that wanted to come with us. And I foolishly said, anybody wants to come, they'll have the same job, same hourly pay, same everything. Um, and what that ended up meaning was our first year, we needed to do $2 million out of the gate, all retail from nothing. And that's in $2006. So, and we did it, but how we did it, and this is where I'll support your point, is that we had to understand our business to be able to create a business plan. But the other thing is we had to go get those leads, and we had to be able to convert them, right? So so if you can't if you generating a couple $1 million, and nowadays it'd be like $4 million from scratch in retail business, uh, you better know how to market. You better know how to generate revenue. You have to, what we call is, you got to be able to grow on demand.
Yeah, actually, when I posted that, I was about to put like, and first of all, I agree with you, was going to be the thing underneath, because I know, because I'm a marketer, I think people would probably assume that I would say marketing. And right now, I feel like sales. You want to know why? Well, I'll kind of give you a little story, and I'd love to hear a little bit deeper on that question. Which one is more important, marketing or sales? For those of you out there listening, answer it in your head a little here. For me, I felt like sales because, okay, I market hard, hard, probably like harder than is necessary, and I like it. I love marketing. It feels good. I would do it all day if I could. I say when I was early in my business, there would be a sales call and I'd miss it because I was making a video. Because I do like that. I like making that stuff. And so I would literally miss the point of making the video to make the video. And I've had this where, like, this past year, there's a period of time where I didn't feel like selling and I wasn't in it. My heart wasn't in it. And so I stopped and I was just marketing, but running my feet as hard as I could on marketing because that's what I felt like I could do right then. And it was so hard and I did so much. But then the next quarter, I sat there and just sold my butt off. And when I started to sell it, I felt like I didn't have to market as hard at all. I didn't. Because if I could close the deals I'm getting, then some of this like treading and this like running my feet and skidding my wheels was unnecessary because I closed some of those deals. So, just like you said, it's yes. And if you don't have the sales, I mean, it's both, right? But if you don't do the sales, this is the way I've been thinking. If you don't do the sales, then all that marketing is pointless. Stop marketing so
Yeah.
hard. Close the deals you've got. Make sure you can actually close and then get back to marketing. But it's such a weird thing because in business, especially under a certain couple millions, you have to be doing both in tandem all the time or you will
Oh
die.
yeah.
Your business will
Yeah.
die.
It's like a seesaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a seesaw, right? And what I mentioned, what I posted on your comment was marketing, but you can't scale marketing without sales process,
Mm.
right? So otherwise you're feast, famine, chaos. You go get a whole bunch, rustle up, get a whole bunch of stuff going, and then you spend a bunch of money and time or effort, and you got a bunch of opportunities, but now you got to be able to process those. And if you don't have a good sales process, like we came into the business in our roofing company. We spent a bunch. I mortgaged my house to get the marketing budget to do that $2 million, right? To do that business that first year. If we didn't convert that, I was in trouble, right? I was going to be in real trouble at home. So, but when you're spending that money on marketing, you then also have to have a sales process that can command higher dollars, right? Because if you're going to spend money on marketing, You can't be the least expensive company out there because you're investing more than those least expensive companies in your overhead. So, and so if you want to be able to sell that job, that work profitably, you've got to have sales process that can convert. So if you want to scale up that marketing, you got to have a plan. What do we need? What are we going to spend? What do we got to get? And what do we got to sell it for to be able to make it all work?
If you truly believe in what you're doing and you want to be the best version of yourself and you want to build a great organization, there's no other place to do that besides the Roofing Academy.
So you worked with a lot of retail companies, am I correct? Or have you worked with, I'm sure you've worked with
That's
both.
all we do.
Okay, retail, okay. So one thing that I find frustrating about retail companies, um, our preference too is retail, but the frustrating part is that you get a lot of people that don't know how to hunt. Because
Oh yeah,
storm people know how to hunt. You know what I mean? Say what you will about storm chasing culture and storm restoration as a business model, but they know how to hunt.
yeah,
And retail guys sometimes don't, and they have to wait
yeah.
to everything to come to them. Is there any like recommendations that you have to take people that might be more traditionally lead babies and to get them doing some work when business is slow? Because we're in a time period of the year where half the country business is slow. What do you have them do during those times?
Well, there's only so much you can do, right? So the what most of the people that I deal with, a lot of retail people, they do great work, and they're able to. The reason they're able to do that is because they build a reputation and they can kind of live off of that, right? Um, and so I call it there's reactive and proactive marketing, and the analogy I like to use is like when you're uh, when you're on the dock and you're fishing. The only fish you're going to get are the fish that swim to you, right? So what happens when the fish aren't swimming to you? What do? Well, you got to get in the boat, right? And you get in the boat, and then you drive out to where the school of fish are, and if you find the school of fish, then you got to drop the lure in that's going to get those fish to bite. So that's direct marketing. Direct marketing is when you're able to generate business. Now, I'm not saying that the reactive or the reactive marketing is not bad. It's good to have, but you can never scale up a business on that. You can't create a business plan on that. You can't say that next year I'm going to do $3 million more because $3 million more worth of fish are going to swim towards me. So what I say is have a plan, decide where you want to be and what you want to do. That's the most important thing. Decide where you want to go. Then you build a plan to get there. Your reactive business is going to be there if you keep doing a good job. You're going to have a portion of that, but you got to figure out a way to create and to make business. That's we call it. We have three parts to what we teach people. Um, Part of it's about control, having a plan. Part of it's having systems process, and part of it's what we call growth on demand. If you want to be able to scale, you got to have growth on demand, and that has to do with your being able to market and create leads on demand, be able to convert those leads at prices and not have to rely on low prices, and then have the leadership to forecast and have the vision of where you want to take your organization to go. So um, you're right; it is something that they struggle with, um, but once they decide that, hey, I'm tired of being stuck in this business, I'm tired of it being reliant on me, I want to be able to predictably grow, I want to be able to hire a team of people, um, then they get over it. They just need a little help figuring out how to do it.
Can
Now,
you can you
do
give
you
me
guys, is that something? Sorry, go ahead.
uh, it, can you give me a few more examples of like the going to them, like pulling the boat out and bringing it to where they are? Like, what do you consider that? Because I just want to make sure people know how to do something with that information you're sharing.
Yeah. So that would be leveraging social media. That would be
Mm.
direct mail, radio, TV, door knocking. Uh,
You know what's
I
funny?
guess it could be
You
a little
say
bit.
social media, and if it almost feels basic, but you know what's funny? How many people aren't doing anything with that information? It's crazy to me how many roofing companies because we've had, let's say, problems with a roofing company, right? They're not happy with our service or something like that, and not it happens, you know what I mean? But I like we'll go to their because I don't, we have 100 clients now. I don't have every piece of context on every single client, so I go to their social just to kind of get some more context. Like what else? No marketing happens in a vacuum, right? So it's like I'm just going to their Facebook page to see what's going on, kind of what else they got going on for marketing, those types of things. And I'll see like haven't posted in 2 years. And I'm like, you're not even doing the free stuff. And I'm not
Yeah.
ripping anyone. And I'm certainly like, I hate when there's a problem, but like from my point of view, no one is going to care more about your marketing than you are. It's very hard to get your marketing going if your whole thing looks like a ghost town. Do you know what I'm saying? And we don't do social, so like I can't claim credit for that part of it. Um, but it is wild to me how many people don't do the basic stuff that's free. Because I have a problem with social media because I do it too much. But like I don't fully understand people that don't do it at all.
Well, I'm not too good at the organic myself. I'm more of an introverted person, so that's something I personally struggle with. But
But you
when
you
I'm talking
are
about social media,
you're saying you're posting on you posted on my stuff, and like part of it people don't
yeah,
realize is also it's not just about like posting on your pages. It's about interacting with people and talking about your business in a more organic way, versus just constantly promoting all the time. So, anyways, sorry, I'll stop interrupting here.
no, no, no. Well, what the reason I bring up social is think about guys, whoever's listening here. Um, you've got to if you want to be able to grow your business on demand, you've got to be tapping people on the shoulder. There's times when they're swimming towards you, they're looking for you, right? When is that going to be happening? That's going to be when it's the season. If we're talking about retail people, right? Well, typically when that's happening, you've got more business than you can stand, right? You can't get to everybody. Then you've got the times when it's off. So what we used to do, we used back, I had my business was bigger before social media really became too much of a thing. We did a lot of direct mail, right? And I know people poo-poo direct mail, but our biggest direct mail months were like January when it was dead, February, and we'd have huge offers. Anything we could do to drive business during that times. I mean, my philosophy was if we can just break even in those months where we would typically lose money, I don't care what we got to spend. The other part of that would be, yeah, the other part of that, yeah, because otherwise, what are you doing otherwise, guys? You're digging a hole for 3 or 4 months a year and trying to dig out. You get halfway through your busy season before you start getting into the black, right?
Mhm.
What if you could just tread water in those months and keep your team and and stay busy? Now I know there's markets where you just can't. We were in a market where, yeah, it got cold, but we didn't have like ice on the roof or anything.
By the way, we're not
So in
we're
those,
not anti-direct mail here. So our partner on that is Dope Marketing, and our favorite part about it is when you
there you go.
get a job in a certain area, you can set it up so it automatically goes out to the neighbors. And I think direct mail targeted, everything targeted, right? Like into the tight areas. So knowing your top three zip codes and hammering those over and over and over again, becoming locally famous is very, very important. I think direct mail is still a really great opportunity for people.
Absolutely. And I want to be absolutely clear. We do not sell marketing. Okay.
Hmm.
I just did a lot of
Yeah.
it. Everything you can think of, uh, up until the last few years when I've been out of the retail roofing side of things, I've done it. The I'm just a fan of anything that you can turn on and reach out and tap someone on the shoulder and say, hey, here's an opportunity. If you're going to be in the market for X amount of time, what we want to do is with direct marketing. The analogy I like to use is think of it like um, you've got your I'm not as smart as of someone in NASA, but think about you've got the planet right here, right? And then we've got things that are orbiting the planet just outside the atmosphere. Well, there's a whole bunch of customers that are kind of orbiting the planet, right? They're thinking about doing their roof in the next 12, 18 months, maybe 24. And then you've got the people that are right in your atmosphere. So what you want to do with your direct marketing is you want to go out and grab those people and pull them forward. You want to go out and grab those people and pull them forward. And how you do that is first you got to get a message in their face, right? You got to stick a message in. It's got to compel them to take action now. And so, you've probably heard of Alex Hormozy. Read something on from what he offers. He talks about writing incredible offers, compelling offers to get people to take action now. So that's what you can do with direct mail. And it doesn't matter what the medium is. People say this works, that doesn't work. They all work if you have the right strategy, right? If you can get a message in front of somebody's face and they go, "Oh yeah, that's me," and that's interesting, and I want to take a look. I want to learn more about that. That's what good marketing does. So, but I like social media. I haven't figured it out, but I like social media because everybody's on it. You can turn something on, you can turn something off. You do a direct mail piece or something like that. There's a lift to get that created, built, shipped out. There's a
Sure.
big investment. But social media is something you can turn it on. You have too many leads. You got more you can stand. Turn it off. It's a lot more nimble.
Well, I'll talk to you about social media anytime you want. I've learned a few things. Although we don't do it
Yeah,
for fun.
look, I personally kind of suck at it, like I said. So I'd like to
Yeah.
learn more about it. We can talk more about it. Do a sidebar on that for sure. I'll take all the advice I can get.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that the overarching principles are just figure out what's getting attention and copy it. I mean, if I'm real, like I've told them this before, but do you know Joseph Hughes from Contractor Dynamics?
Yep. Yep.
I watched him for a couple of years on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh man, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to grab people's attention and keep part of it." And in this case, I didn't do exactly what he did because he does these long form posts that are like he calls them like value posts or whatever. They're usually super good and thoughtful, and he's been reading, and he's such he's smart, very smart. Me, I'm just kind of funny sometimes. So I went the opposite, you know what I mean? But I saw that it was one, like, where is your ideal customer, right? Where is your ideal customer? Roofers are on Facebook. Actually, homeowners are too. They're just in groups a lot of times. Like, you can find them in your local groups and engage them there and then connect with more of them there. And I believe you should be hammering your personal profile and not the company page. And that's a whole discussion, but I've seen how it works way better with the personal page, and you also get to connect with more people. Then figure out like a style or something that works with your what you've got, right? In my case, I didn't necessarily have the Hormozy long form Joseph Hughes style thing, but I know how to make memes. I'm kind of a silly goose. So then I, did more funny stuff, and then you know, keep A/B testing, right? Just keep trying different things. Like every single week for a long time, I would like think about my ideal customer and do one post, like on Tuesday or whatever, and just like make it as good as I possibly could. And like it's been a focus. It's where are they? What are they like? And then once A/B test until you just keep on ratcheting it up. And I probably told some people this strategy, and I know I see people do something with it. And it is partly work, Aaron. Sorry, I'm preaching for a second, but Aaron and everyone
No,
else,
no, no, no.
it's
I've
work.
got questions.
Yeah. And I think this is a useful one because people come to our podcast for marketing too. So we might as well drill in. I think you had some really good takes. The work is different, right? The work includes, did Monday night, I'm sitting in bed. I just like go into my notes app. I'm writing. It sucks. Start over. Writing. It sucks. But I'm saying all the things, you kind of treat it like a journal on your notes app, and you're just like, this is interesting. This is interesting. Maybe sometimes hot takes, right? Like one of the ones that I did that got me customers and prospects was, you know, private equity is private equity sometimes squanders things. So I did that whole post, right? And then I posted it and I got several leads from it of people that thought they might be getting squandered or other things like that. But it was work to do that. So the work is doing it when you don't feel like it, when you get a chance where you're sharp enough to be able to say something that actually might matter. And then the other work is posting it even though somebody's going to disagree. The work
Yeah.
is even though I feel like there will be people that disagree, I count the cost now every time I post. I count the cost, which might be somebody's gonna hate this. But if it's anything of substance, somebody might hate it, right? If it's unhateable, you probably don't have a great post, if I'm honest. So that's
I think I've heard something like that
yeah.
before.
So that's basically it. Like it's just a different kind of work, right? And it's if you understand that and you understand most people won't do that work, most people will sloppily just say the first thing that comes to their head and it's not going to really get them business. Then you'd be into it, Aaron. I bet you'd like it. I know you do post, but I'm saying I bet you'd post more if you truly it's just work. It's not like you're not that guy.
Well, it's not for me. That type of post you're talking about for me, I just think I'm not that interesting, and
Yeah.
I have all kinds of stuff like that, and I'm like an introverted person.
Yeah.
I'll create content, and I'll put out value. It's like, okay, this is going to be something that's going to help somebody, but I usually put a lot of thought to it, and it'll be a little polished. But I do need to do more of it. Frankly, I think we were talking about this earlier. I've been building out all the training and all the stuff inside of our company for so long. I haven't been able to I couldn't take on any more customers, right? So now we're pivoting and we're going to start scaling up ourselves. But I want to ask you something you said, because you kept saying it's work, it's work. So how much work is it now compared to how much it was for you? How difficult, how challenging is it now compared to how it was when you first started?
Yeah, I think it was easier because I had no audience. And so, you know what I mean? When you have no audience at the very beginning, it's easy to throw out junk, right? Like, and then you don't know what's good until you've tried a few times and you see what gets customers and what doesn't, or what grabs attention and what doesn't. The question, and I asked this on my page earlier today, is like, how long are you willing to be bad that you can get good? Because I think that like most people are only willing to be bad for like 2 weeks and then they quit. So that's
Yeah.
the real
Yeah.
question: is
Have
are
you
you
heard
willing
of
to be bad again?
do you know the 4 levels of competency?
No, I don't. I want to hear this.
It's something I talk about all the time to try to help people kind of get past it. So there's four. It doesn't matter what you're learning or starting to do. There's 4 levels. There's unconsciously incompetent, consciously incompetent, consciously competent, and then unconsciously competent. So unconsciously incompetent is you don't know, you don't know. It's you're totally ignorant. You don't even know something exists, right? Um, and I like to call this the teenager stage. This is where like you don't have teenagers yet. You're too young, right?
Hey guys, this is Bruce by Don, and when dealing with insurance companies, you definitely need an expert by your side. So if you need someone to walk in, hold your hands throughout the insurance process, not really, Max. Deal with the experts, supplement experts.
You can hold my hand.
Just like a screaming child, your business will have things that come up that demand all of your attention. How does the how does the 4 levels of competency help that?
It's all good, man. Hey, we had twins right out of the gate, and it was life altering. So luckily our boys now are 23, so we're gonna have some of that coming with them here pretty soon, which at some point, which I'm looking forward to them having that problem. So but no, we left off talking about the 4 levels of competency. What made me think about it was you were talking about kind of where people quit, right? And this is something that I learned. I had a roofing company, right? I wasn't a trainer or a teacher or whatever. I spent the last few years kind of figuring all that out. I mean, I had trained all of our salespeople, but they had to listen to me. They work for me, right? So now I'm in a situation where we're trying to inspire people and get them to take action. So one of the things that I share a lot, which is something that's helped me, is this 4 levels of competency. And that is that we start off unconsciously incompetent. We don't even know stuff is out there that we don't know. And for a lot of the people that I help with sales training, they don't know it. Sales training, that sounds like something scary, something bad. It's sleazy and you're going to be taking advantage of people and all that stuff. So, and they don't really realize there's actually a process or training for it, right? So they're unconsciously incompetent. And then the next step is becoming consciously incompetent. It's like, oh, there's stuff I don't know, and I could risk or it could benefit me, right? So that's now there's engagement. And if you become consciously incompetent, then you take the next step to acquire the knowledge. And that's when you become consciously competent. And just like it sounds, it's kind of like what it says is, you know that you know. So when you are conscious of something, like the analogy I like to use a lot of times is like, see, I'm old enough to, when I started driving, there was still a lot of manual transmissions. So, it had to start driving and use a manual transmission. And, it's like having to think about it while I'm doing it. And that's scary and frustrating. You suck at it, and it's painful. And we do things as human beings for two reasons only, right? Achieve pleasure, avoid pain. And for most people, that avoiding pain is the most powerful one. So I call this is the quitting stage, because it gets hard. And that's what I was asking you earlier about. I was kind of asking you about this when you were talking about posting. I was like, well, how tough was it then? How easy is it now? And you kind of went the other way of what I thought you were going to say. He's like, oh, it's easier now. I know what I'm doing. It's comfortable. I'm comfortable at it. And that's usually what happens, is when we first start implementing something, doing it, it's hard. It sucks. We suck at it. We're slow. It's frustrating. We're aware of everything that's going on. And a lot of times we quit. But the thing is we're right on the precipice of the next thing, which is unconsciously competent, which is that you don't know that you know. It's like breathing. It just happens, right? And so I try to let everyone, and if you're going to be successful, I think of it like this, like a staircase, right? And if you want to keep going this way, you're going to hit the tread, right? And it's going to suck. And you're going to have to push up to get over the tread, and then you coast a little bit more. See, I want the tread, because I hit the tread, I know I'm going to level up. I got to get past it. I got to work through it, but I got to get past it. But the thing is when you hit those rough spots, just if you can, just get conscious of it. Okay, I'm next door to it, right? If I can just get through this, if I can just take another step, at some point I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to own something new, right? So anyways, that's what it made me think about. But there's another part of it that I teach people in sales. This could potentially be a little magical thing here. You see, people get frustrated with homeowners because they aren't as smart about roofing as they are. And it's like, I hear people say, well, they bought from these guys, they bought from that guy. They didn't, I told them everything. I explained it all, and they still did this stupid thing. And, you see, what they're not understanding is that the homeowners are unconsciously incompetent about roofing. They don't know. And what we have to do is we have to get them to that level 2, where they become consciously incompetent, where they understand, oh crap. And the magic words we want to hear, and this is what I heard one of my mentors tell me, and it's made a lot of sense, is when they say, oh, I never knew there's this much to this. See, if they don't get there, then all they know is shingles and price, right? They don't understand that they're hiring somebody to rip the top off their house, that's going to be putting human beings up on an elevated slope surface in the middle of who knows what kind of weather. And whoever they buy from they're the designer, the installer, the customer service people, and they're expecting that roof to last with no problems for the next couple of decades. And if there's a problem, you're going to be there to take care of it. See, they're not aware of all that. They're not thinking about it. They're just thinking about shingles and price. So what we have to do tactfully is get them to understand that they don't know what they don't know, and there's all these other things to it. Once that happens, what we like to say is when they become aware, they start to care. And when they care, that's when they'll engage and we can teach. So there's a couple different ways that unconscious to unconsciously incompetent, consciously competent. You can use it for yourself for when you're leveling yourself up, and you can use it when you're thinking about your customers, because they don't know, and it's our job to help them.
That's very, very good. I was just talking to people the other day, and I was talking about how, well, digital leads are different. So my talk is about how digital leads are different, and how you can't skip steps, right? Because sometimes, like when you get a referral, it's like the deal's done, all right? We're doing this. Person loves us. Their neighbor loves us, etc., etc. But like, it's even more important when it's somebody you don't know and they don't know you from Adam. And you might be one of 3 quotes, and it's tough, it's annoying, but that's what it is. And on the internet, people submit forms and call really quickly, multiple companies. So if you get if you're one of three quotes, which sucks, but that's part of the game, you got to say all the things. You got to tell them everything. And the hardest part about being a salesperson is repeating yourself so much, right? Sometimes you just get sick of saying the same old thing
Yep.
over and over and over again, but that is your job and you're usually pretty well paid for it. So like, yeah.
Well, here's another thing I learned early on is I haven't been to a lot of plays, but my understanding is the people who make the great money, they're doing plays like on Broadway, and they'll do that
Mm,
play hundreds of times. And the difference between the people at the playhouse down the street and those people is that
yeah.
they can deliver the goods every time.
And they
They can
act like it
deliver it and make it
matters.
believable every
They're
time.
they're they're
So
just like the greatest
yeah,
rock
it matters.
stars. Every time you go to their show, they are putting on a show like it's their first and last time. They might have just come from down the street or Cleveland, and they are still putting that show on like it matters to you, and they've already done it so many times and it's magical to you. But it wasn't magical. I mean, it's not that magical underneath it all when you look at it in their head, probably. It's basic. But
Well, it's got to be more than just
Mhm.
a sale, right? You got to care about
Mm.
the people getting the right job. You can fake it for a certain amount of time, but one of the things that I would do, and I share with anybody that usually that I'm training, is when you had a bad beat, you didn't get the last job, things didn't go your way, you're having a crap day or whatever else, you pull up to that house, they don't care about any of that, right? So the little trick that I used to use in my mind is I would just say,
Mm.
I'm going to go help these people. I'm just going to go help these people, and they're lucky I'm here because there's nobody better to help them than me. And if you focus on helping people rather than trying to make sales, a funny thing happens. And this is another thing that one of my mentors taught me is that their money will come play in your backyard, right? Just focus on doing the right thing and helping them, and everything works out.
Mm. I like that a lot.
You
I'm
got me. You
in.
got me going now.
Um, these are things that I mean, we kind of covered some major topics today, and we covered the sales versus marketing thing. You mentioned the problems that a lot of roofers have are perennial. They're always like very common and consistent. And one of the main things is they want freedom. And then we've also been talking about the four levels of competency, and then also how to use those in the sales process. Being that you work with so many people in a comprehensive way on their business, not just as a sales coach, but that sales is a pretty primary thing in any business. And if you don't get it right, it's gonna blow the whole thing up. Are there any kind of final words or like things that you talk a lot about when you only have a half an hour or so with a coaching client that if they haven't got this down on sales, they should? Yeah.
On sales, um, well, first thing is have a process. Most of the people are coming to us. They're coming to us because they want to get out of being the core of their business. They want to be able to. We call it freedom
Mm.
to lead. They want freedom to lead. And in order to do that, when it comes to sales, the most important thing is it doesn't have to be
Yeah.
our process. You have to have a process, because if you don't have a process in your business that's embedded in your business, you can't plug people into it, and you can't manage them to a standard. So when it comes to sales, the thing I would say, the first and foremost, I don't care what it is, get a process, get it embedded in your company, get everyone using it, and and as the manager, learn enough about the process to where you can at least know when people are going off the rails, so you can
How
help them get back on
formulaic does
track.
that process need to be? Like, how loose is it? How rigid is it?
It depends. Okay. The answer to that is it depends, because if you're in retail, and if you want to sell for more, then if you don't want to be reliant on price, which I'm here to tell you guys, if you want to build an elite company that offers benefits and attracts the best team members that you can provide great training to, and you can have the best equipment, um, and you want to be able to market so you can grow your business and stay in business to honor your promises to your clients, you can't sell on price. You're gonna have to be more. Okay. So if you're gonna sell for more, then you have less room for error. Okay, you have less room for error, and you have to be tighter. We teach people there's four things that anybody buying anything needs to have answered in order to be able to make a decision. And they're all W's, 4 W's. The why, they got to decide to say that they actually have a problem. That once they know they have a problem, they want to know what to do about it. They want to know who to get it from or have do it, and then you decide when they're going to do something about it. Right? We all have those same 4 questions. You can build a sales process just around those. Okay, I'm gonna handle the why, I'm gonna handle the what, I'm gonna handle the who, and I'm gonna handle the when. I'm gonna educate them on those things, and it can be as simple as that. And you can come up with all kinds of different ways to do it. We try to teach people those to start off with, and then we add complexities to it as they can handle it. And all of it's built around being able to just more effectively communicate so the homeowner understands. Because if you are actually better than your competition, the reason they're not buying from you is because they don't get it. And here's the thing, that's our job, right? Our job is to get them to care about it and then share about it. So, but anyways, all that starts with a system. Sorry, you get me going.
A couple more tangents. We're going to have your whole system here. So maybe I should hold off. And if you need to,
hey man,
if
I'm
you
an open
needed
book.
more on your systems, whether it be sales or the total business system, please reach out to Aaron. Is it roofcoach.com? Roofcoach.net.
.net.
I want to see
I'm too
you
cheap
in
to buy the .com. They want like
roofcoach.com.
$5,000 for the .com.
I
Just on
want
principle,
to
I'm
see
not going to
you
buy
in
it.
roofcoach.com. Just get into it at some point. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. I got to break down it. It's a principle thing. Somebody's holding it hostage, and I can't stomach I
Well,
can't stomach doing it. But hey, I did want to say if anybody wanted something, this is a kit we give away for free. If you go to roofcoachkpi.com, one of the things that we recommend, the first thing you do is get control of your business, right? If you don't have control of your business, it's kind of like flying an airplane with no dashboard. You got to have some metrics that you're monitoring. And so one of the first things that we created, and this is free, it's a full KPI creation implementation kit. It's a guide along with some worksheets to help you implement guides. You can go there and download it. It's roofcoachkpi.com. Doesn't cost you anything but a little bit of your time. And if you implement this, it could actually revolutionize your business. So if anybody wanted anything from us, I recommend you go get that. And of course, look us up. We're out there.
you know what? I really appreciate you being on and so much good stuff. I can tell that you really help people's business. I know that you have a bunch of awesome companies that you work with, and the fact that you're close with what's the dude's name from Feasel? Like the fact
Mike
that you're
Feasley, yeah, Roof
you're
Max.
training all those companies now, obviously there's some credibility there, and I really appreciate you joining us and being on. And I hope to continue the relationship and be useful to you in some way. And hopefully you get a conversation or two from this. Check him out if you need a coach, and appreciate you being on today, Aaron.
Hey, thank you. And thank you for doing this for the community, man. It means a lot. You have a lot of
Thank you
great
so
people on here
much.
and you give a lot of value.
See you guys.